So my position, if we are in debate class, which we're not, we're in conversation mode, but my position is that there are two phases of life, black and white, reality and fiction, but basically infancy and maturity. So when we are in our infant states, no matter what our age is, we're talking about mindset, not linear time, age. My birthday is coming up. I'm about to be 46, September 14th. I'm accepting birthday gifts. But so age ain't nothing but a number, and it doesn't relate to our mature.
Age is a number, time is not.
Okay. So neither of them relate to our maturity. Neither age nor time relate to our maturity.
Time should.
Time should, according to my husband.
According to nature.
According to my knowledge, time nor age matters because we as humans have free will. So a clock or a calendar doesn't determine our maturity. Only we can determine that.
No,
and
I
we
didn't say a
determine
clock or time or a calendar. I said time. Time is the movement of moving forward and the physical moving forward. That's really what time is calculated in science and such. So that's the time that I'm talking about, the actual movement of what actually exists. Moving forward, moving in a forward positive nature in a positive time manner. So that's what I'm talking about. So right now as we're speaking, the earth is moving. We know this to be a fact. The wind is blowing. So all that is happening within this time that we're being given to be here. Now once our time comes to an end, then everything stops. The molecules, the electrons, the protons, everything comes to a stop, and that's that. So that's what I'm referring to in regards to that. And I think a lot of times me and my wife get into these disagreements based off of the understanding of, or lack of understanding for one another, of what our point of views are coming from. But even more than that is I'm not an individual that cares to hear about the details of what created the shit storm. What I want to know is what actually created the shit storm, not what happened after the shit storm was created, or during the process of creating that shit storm, what was going on during that time. It's not a concern of mine what happens after that, because the human decides whether or not they want to move forward with that shitstorm, and they're doing that on a day-to-day basis, and it has nothing to do with anybody else other than them embracing and accepting that shitstorm that they feel comfortable in moving forward with. So I don't look at it from all these scientific, philosophical point of views that man made. I look at it from a nature point of view. Pay attention to the birds, pay attention to cats, dogs, pay attention to other mammals, fish. They'll let you know what's going on in the world, period, point blank. Problem is we think we're smarter than nature, and it's impossible for us to ever be smarter than nature. But when we do get to that point where we're smarter than nature, we would most definitely be able to reproduce human adults in whole form, and we will never be able to do that.
Ashe, brother. So I'm laughing because one, it's 3:45 right now. I'm just making this connection, but I was looking at the timer at 222 and 234. So I see numbers, I see synchronicities. My husband may also see that, but he just explained very well one of the areas that we are working on in our relationship. So he explained how he sees things, and he said that he does not see the philosophical point of view. And so I am at the spectrum where I have, through my experiences, I bridge the gaps between what should be and how people should be based on the time passing in nature and how nature behaves, and the way that we are based on our social, familial, church, societal upbringing. So he don't fuck with all that, and I fuck with it heavy, because that is the calling for my life, whereas he, as Extra AF mentioned in the Akashic record reading, He is the more mundane, realistic, however he would describe himself. So he admittedly is that, and I admittedly am this, and it's pretty much on opposite ends of the spectrum. So our arguments come in because really both of us are storytellers. The 1156 human design shit talk that I've had before, you can read my socials and hear about that. But both of us are storytellers, and both of us are very expressive
All humans are storytellers.
When it comes to our experiences and beliefs and knowledge and awareness of things. So he wanted to say something.
All humans are storytellers. This whole scientific breakdown and science and all that's just irrelevant. And the reason why it is because nature trumps all. It doesn't matter the audience. All humans are storytellers. But one will say, oh, you're not a storyteller because you have this audience or you have that audience. But in the same breath, those are the same people that are saying, oh, this human should be allowed to do this, or this human should be allowed to feel this way, or this human should, all humans should feel this way, that way, etc., and be allowed to be in their own self. So when an individual comes about and says, oh, I am a storyteller, but I have my own audience, and you're not part of that audience, then it becomes of, oh, he's not a story. But all humans share the same characteristics. It's just going back to what she mentioned earlier, free will. It's whether or not you want to use it at whatever given time or not. And that's the reality of it. The reality of it. I'm not comfortable standing in front of an audience of 10,000 people. Saying a speech, giving a speech. But in my younger days, even under my physical condition, I was very comfortable with getting on a basketball court with 9 other men and playing in front of 10,000 people. So, but that's by choice though. I didn't want to be comfortable speaking in front of 10,000 people. So that's by choice. It's not that I couldn't do it, it's by choice. Because I've spoken in front of hundreds of people before, but by choice I said, this is something that needs to get done. I have to do this because I have to do well what I'm doing right now. This has to be done, and it has to be done at a high level. I chose to do that. Was I uncomfortable? Sure. But once I chose to engage in it, and once it began, then the discomfort goes away automatically because that's the human nature. Once the human engages in what they're trying to pursue, the discomfort leaves. That's why you hear superstars in entertainment and sports say, hey, right before tip-off, or right before I came off stage, I have butterflies. But once I got out there, once the ball was tossed in the air, once the horn sounded, once the note on the piano was played, or whatever it may be, the discomfort, the being uncomfortable, it just vanishes. Because there's something more important than the discomfort. There's something more important than being uncomfortable. Because you don't want 10,000 people to be staring at you, listening to you at the same time. Then you reach the point where you release your vocals. Or you get in a defensive stance, or you get the ball, or this or that, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, you don't see 10,000 people no more. You don't hear 10,000 people no more. They're not even a part of your consciousness at that time. So they're definitely not a part of your subconscious. And that's a whole nother story. We make shit too difficult. My wife makes shit too difficult. And I'm here, I'm not trying to blast her or anything like this or that, but she's trying to find herself. But herself is no different than the cactus outside of our perimeter of our fence. Nature. And if you just take it simple, like she wanted to be, simple, and be nature, then you don't worry about all the other bullshit.
So the beauty of life, I saw 9/14 on the calendar, on the counter, which is my birthday. I saw 9/41, which is Apple's birthday, and an anagram of my birthday. I saw 135, which is the first 3 set in prime numbers. So I see synchronicities of life. And the beauty of life is that everything that my husband just said is the same thing that you can read in my own perspective through my own words on my social media accounts. My husband does not read my or anybody's social media posting because he deals with chronic pain. He was in the car accident with his mother that I described.
Pain doesn't stop me from reading.
So he deals with.
I have a vision problem.
I'm gonna get there. Hold on. So he had the car accident in his 5-year-old youth. Didn't sustain any physical injuries from that. Sustained mental, emotional, spiritual, maybe.
I think so. But
Injuries. He doesn't think spiritual, but that's.
I don't think emotional either.
He don't think emotional either, but anyway. So then in high school, which we went to the same high school, what you got to say? You can talk.
Just your response to stuff like that when I express who I am. Like, I sit back and I talk to young men my age when I was younger, and I let them understand that under my circumstances, I could use all of those excuses to just wild out and just not give a fuck. But I have a mindset of I'm a human being. That's not how we operate. That's not how you go about things. You don't run out into the middle of the motherfucking field as a lion because it's a big ass red bloody piece of meat out there. You can, and the lion probably will, but the human is not supposed to. The human should have more sense than that. But we obviously show that we don't, that we want to be primitive and think like the lion. The lion cannot help himself. He has to go out there to get that piece of meat. There's no stopping that male lion.
He gotta go get that piece of the bitch.
He gotta go get it. He has to.
We run a dog breeding, a kennel, and we had a dog who was recently in heat, and the dog that I mentioned, Chico, he fucked around and got Piper pregnant once. And Piper just went through heat again, and all the male dogs, we have 3 males, 2 females, and all the males were sniffing and wanting a piece of Piper. But Chico, who had that 1, 2, 3, 4 on the counter, but Chico, 3, 4, 5 on the clock. But Chico, who had a taste of that pussy before, wanted that pussy again. Like, he was going crazy. My husband said it don't matter. I don't know if you heard him, but remember, I bridged the gap between my husband's thoughts and experiences and way of thinking and the quote-unquote common man, normal person like myself's way of thinking. So he says it doesn't matter, and I'm speaking on what actually happened. So Chico actually had a taste of Piper before. He actually felt the physical sex, the sensation of being inside Piper. Mamo, our pit bull, and Jazz, our baby Min Pin, a product of Piper and Chico's first interaction, their human or their animal nature knew that Piper is in heat, knew that it was something different and appealing about her, and they were sniffing behind her, they were trying to hump her. But there was just something about Chico, who had had a taste of it before, that wanted more and more. He wanted to be inside Piper. Mamo and Jazz were comfortable being next to Piper adjacent, if you will. But Chico was going crazy. Chico wanted back into that experience that he's had. So we can look at Chico with an infant mindset, in the sense that Chico didn't realize that we were trying to train him and teach him a new way of life. We were trying to get that dog in him to calm down. So Chico is a dog. He don't realize that we can equate Chico to a human infant, no matter the age, because remember, age ain't nothing but a number. So Chico, relating to the human with an infant mindset, is holding on to the past of what he believes to be true, current, and what he should experience again. So at the beginning of the first video that cut off, we were talking about how the infant mentality holds on to things whether they're true or not, because the infant mentality believes that they have to protect their heart. The infant mentality believes that what was done to them, what they experienced, was wrong, was bad, and was something that has to be protected with lies, even so. So my husband represents the mature mentality, where he can say that my mother was not a saint. I know my brother, who was 6 months old at the time of her death, would like to believe our mother was a saint, but I try to explain to him, I admit, I accept that my mother went through some shit. My mother experienced some human woman type shit, and she was out there in the world. She was out there in the world with my father, who wasn't shit.
She won the hoe.
She was out there in the world.
My mama wasn't a hoe. So basically, it was an unguided youth. So that's what happened with my mother. Just like most of the young men and women that I'm familiar with, and that my wife is familiar with, including ourselves, we were left to figure out how to grow, how to become young men and young women on our very own, without any examples of what to do and how to do it, to make things comfortable for a human being. And that's the most important thing with me, is like, either you're gonna do something or you're not gonna do something. But just realize whatever it is you do or don't do is gonna either increase your comfort or decrease your comfort. So yeah, I hear when my wife says the Gandhi shit. You know, hey, you think this way, you meditate, you relax, no problems, blah blah blah, this and that. Yeah, it is cool when there's support there, because Gandhi had a lot of fucking support. But when you don't have no support, and that you try to use that philosophy, ain't nothing good coming for you. And that's just a fact. You have to have support in order to live that lifestyle. And my whole thing is, there's certain responsibilities that is a society, the village of this society that is in place. There is no taking it apart. You have to take on the responsibilities that maintain the comfort level of everybody involved. There was a time in the day where my daughter's mother took my daughter away from me. And at that point, when she did that, I was the closest individual to my daughter. She would disagree with that. Everybody that was around would disagree with her. Therefore, she chooses not to communicate with those type of people or try to hear what was really going on. But everybody would tell her that that's just not accurate. It was the other way around. You were close with your dad. You wanted to be with your dad. You wanted to spend time with your dad. It wasn't the other way around. But she came to me at one point and said, "Dad, why doesn't Mom want to spend time with me?" And it broke my heart, because I didn't know what to tell her. I can remember it. I remember her hair, her face. And what happened after that is the truth and the reality that my daughter doesn't want to hear of who was what type of parent and what was actually going on, the actual truth, what was said after that point, the actions that were done after that point. That is what most people don't want to hear, because they know that that truth is lingering, that would change the perspective and would have to change the perspective of the way they approach not only things, but the people that were involved, that were shown and told to be these negative individuals. And when you find those truths out, and that's what's happening in all of our families, especially the minority communities across this country. And it's been happening for decades. we want to hide the truth. We don't want to accept the fact that our parents struggle, our people struggle, and they made some fucked up ass decisions, like our cousins selling each other coke,
or each other into slavery,
or heroin, or slavery, or prostitution, or
anything.
taking the name of using your cousin's ID because you about to go to jail, so you don't have no ID, so you use your cousin's ID, name, everything, so you ain't got to go to jail.
And get mad when your cousin call you out on it. And family
this,
get mad when the cousin, me, that he talking, well, I don't know if you know if he talking about me, but that happened to me. And my family, my mother got upset when I was like, no, I'm finna prosecute her or show up in court or whatever the fuck needs to happen, because I'm not gonna carry the burden of some false identity. And even at that age, I knew that my identity, who I am, was important, even if I didn't make the connection to who I am at the time and was still living in that infant mindset. So we're at a great break right now. So I want to quickly say that my husband in our conversations kind of represents, and this is just a phrase I'm using, so we're talking about infancy and maturity. So my husband represents the mature mind. Now I bridge the gap, so I represent the hood, the hoes, the holy people. I represent everybody from my perspective, just because
the
I
hoes,
live
the pimps, and
all of that. So when
bitch, please,
bitch, no. So let me. He gonna say bitch, please. But when we met,
what they were saying.
but no. So I got proof. I got receipts though. Watch, I got receipts. So when I met my husband, I told him that one of my dreams was to be a brothel owner. Didn't I tell y'all I wanted to open up a brothel?
So your dreams of being a brothel owner put you in a position to
represent the pimps and the hoes, the players, the prostitutes, the holy people, all of that, because
what the fuck?
So in my mature, enlightened brothel ownership, I was going to allow the workers to be in a safe space, and I ain't gonna put it in past tense because you never know what the fuck I'm gonna do. But I was going to open up a safe space for hoes, pimps. Well, we wouldn't necessarily need pimps, but for sex workers, which is the proper term, people who use their natural body, their sensuality, their sexuality to support their lifestyles.
I don't know why the fuck.
Shut up for a second. This is important. AKA sex workers. You can't keep interrupting me and saying yours is important.
That's what the fuck shit is.
Okay. So I'm gonna be quick so he don't forget what he gotta say. But I was gonna be, or am going to be, or will be a enlightened brothel owner, so that people who have a need or desire to use their sexuality and sensuality to support their lifestyle can have a safe space to do that. So now, because there's people out there getting killed or killing themselves because of the choices that this lifestyle puts them into, but that's another conversation.
The reason why all that negative is because of what I already said.
The reason for that negative.
Don't want to accept reality. It's only one motherfucking CEO.
So the reason.
Take your motherfucking place. When I realized that I wasn't gonna be the motherfucking CEO of no company, then all my shit started falling into my lane and my place.
So you can recognize that you're not going to be a CEO.
Don't lie to yourself. If you 5'1", motherfucking, you a woman, don't lie and say you going to the NBA. God damn it, you're not going to the NBA. You're not.
In her piece available for y'all to join now. So with the
ain't no peace if you 5'1" woman and you think you going to the NBA, motherfucker come, yeah, you could do it, what the fuck? I've experienced some shit like that before where a motherfucker said, you can't tell her what she can't do. She can do anything she wants.
You experienced that with your daughter saying she, or
I've experienced it
first
indirectly and directly.
So one
where motherfuckers telling their daughters and their sons, motherfucker, you ain't never studied a day in your life. And now you're going to be a motherfucking lawyer. The fuck?
And in these commercial breaks, you can...
I wish it was commercials.
There will be commercials, like the shows you watch. So our
I'm
podcast...
heard, never seen.
I ain't showing your face. That's fine.
I got
But
shit to do.
if y'all send some products
Y'all
and he
don't
wanted,
realize
so he
that.
like
I
drink
got
and
shit.
smoke.
No, I like to smoke. That's what I like to do. But y'all don't have to supply my drinking habits. Not at this point. That's for sure. But like, I can't be seen. I'm in a physical state where there's a lot of shit going on over here. So that's the reason why. Period. Point blank. A lot of shit going on. A lot of shit that I don't wish on no motherfucker. But hey, like I was saying earlier, just accept the fuck it is what it is, and that's what it is. And I accept what the fuck it is. Think I don't want to be out there boxing a motherfucker and punching him in the motherfucking face right now? I would love that shit. I'm telling you, I would love to go to Muay Thai and kick a motherfucker right in the motherfucking ribs. Just take out some shit.
He don't want to be seen, but he want to be heard so much that he disrupted my commercial break.
There's no commercials.
It is a fucking commercial. Let me use. Don't worry, they paying the bills. In this commercial break, like the vein of Ivy Tech and other community colleges, you may not be able to be the CEO of somebody else's company, but you can certainly be the CEO of your life.
You could be a CEO of somebody else's company. But just remember, motherfucker, it's only one. It's one. It's cool.
You done?
You ain't
Or
get
you
the
finished?
CEO. You was a motherfucking general manager. That's cool. Make the best of your shit. Live in your shit.
26, 26. I don't know
like
what that means.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I accepted my motherfucking role. I wasn't finna go into no salary position. I was gonna make my paper. And I was gonna accept my role and become the thousandaire that I was gonna become. But my physical condition took me out of that lane. Now I'm in a different lane. I gotta live in my shit. You think I don't wanna be making 200? 225 a year?
Let's practice. Let's pretend that we have paid sponsorships. So for the purposes of this exercise, my paid sponsorship, in which my husband is going to sit there and shut the fuck up.
Exercise.
I'm finna create a TikTok video to lure.
Create that motherfucker.
It's advertisement for our paid conversation.
But just say
You gotta
that.
shut the fuck up. Like, so cut. Remember we was watching Nori and EFN, and EFN was directing Issa when her and Nori was make believing.
EFN, come on, son. That's
Okay, cut. And now for our commercial break. 27:40 on the timer. You may never be the CEO of someone else's business, but you can certainly be the CEO of your life. But you have to recognize the growth needed to go from an infant mentality to an enlightened or mature mentality. And if you join In Her Peace or any of the other services that I and my hidden co-star offer, the links are in our bios.
This is spontaneous shit. Ain't no ours.
If you want to be a part of my shit, if you want to be a part of my shit with my co-star who
I'm watching TV right now. Y'all don't even realize that. So don't know. I ain't got nothing to do with what she trying to do monetarily in any kind of way, shape, or form. I'm over here fucked up.
Take 2. 2838. If you would like to experience the chances to grow mentally from an infant mind state into a mature mind state, then make sure that you join In Her Peace and any other services that are offered by Queen Delia through her company Authentically You LLC. The link is in the bio. I am the owner, CEO, founder, head bitch in charge, CEO, again, alone by myself. You may hear a voice as you experienced growing up watching Tom and Jerry. When the woman was just there, you ain't see her face. All you saw is her stereotyped racist black fat bitch body, or fat black bitch body. You didn't see her fullness because she wasn't able to show that. But through my Queen Delia platform, where I am all rights reserved without penalty, a full ownership experience, then find the link in the bio and attend and support. Link, subscribe, share, all my shit, whatever. Okay, now back to our program. So first of all, if you practicing being a part of some commercials and sponsorships, you can't just be busting out laughing in the background.
I ain't practicing shit. I'm
So
in my lane.
you in your house,
just
minding
sitting
your
in my house,
business, and
minding
your
my
wife
business.
just turned on the computer,
And
iPad,
Because
camera.
of a conversation that we
And-
was having before the camera and audio and all that we even thought of. I got Pipey on my lap. My guys laying around here. She the one.
So I turned the camera on for us, and it started, I don't know, maybe a month ago when we were just talking, and I started cracking up thinking of the title, That's Why I Don't Fuck With You, which was the name, or is the name of our podcast whenever I am recording and he is in the conversation, because remember, he ain't affiliated with my businesses and
You ain't
money.
never gonna see me out of position. Never.
you gonna be doing what the fuck you supposed to be doing.
Already doing it. And motherfuckers wanna come my way.
Shorty
Like my brother,
swing
like I
my
feel it. There's something
way.
coming. One of these motherfuckers finna call me. Something
Sure
going
look
on.
good to me.
Some-
Who finna call you?
One of my brothers. I can feel it the next 24 to 48
I
hours.
can feel
And they
it.
gonna tell me about some shit. The first thing that's gonna come out is me.
Practicing to sing.
Something.
Me.
But my youngest brother, he's straight though. He's starting to try to figure that shit out. It's a goddamn shame he couldn't figure that shit out before he got that pain.
Is that not typical of the human
Yeah, we're trained
experience?
to be that way.
Exactly. So
That's why I was saying
that's
it's
why our conversations are helping people to see that they don't have to stay that way.
Toys away from their kids because it takes them away from their responsibilities.
Well, maybe they don't need to take the toys
They
away from
do
the
need
kids.
to take the goddamn toys and help them become productive. Shit, see what they want. See what
So
they
is that
enjoy.
not a part
Playing
of our
with toys,
conditioning that production is
giving
related
them
to
toys.
no, production in our society is related to taking toys away, taking imagination away,
Nah, not when
sitting
they're
them in a
kids.
classroom like Maddie is
Nah, That's
experiencing.
5 years in. You done
That's
gave them the
production,
You done
though.
gave them the toys. Nah, that ain't
Right.
production.
So the
They ain't
beauty
learning
of
this
having
shit.
toys as a child is that you get a connection to your imagination and you have time to
Tell
build
you
that
something.
foundation before it's
Tell
stripped
you.
away from you.
Nah. Toys is somebody else's imagination.
414.
That's not our imagination as individuals. That's somebody else's. My brother having toys when he was
Did
young.
you have toys
that
when you were
wasn't
young?
It wasn't a motherfucking.
Did you play with toys
nah,
when you-
not really at
Right,
all.
'cause
really.
you lived a
Motherfuckers
mature
is
lifestyle from a young
I was shown what you want to do.
And
You want to play with these motherfucking
right,
toys,
so you were shown.
or you want to do this.
So you were shown a pro-choice life. You were shown these are your options,
But
and
that's
you
what
get
I'm
to choose.
saying. That's why I say my grandfather could do everything that he was
Right.
in a negative manner. But the one thing that he did for all he felt that it was not his responsibility once the fire was lit to keep that motherfucking fire going.
Because that's what he knows.
That's what he knew, even though he should have, because that motherfucker would have lived a much better life.
How can you say what he should have known
Because if he
when most
would
of
have, then I
us?
would have been a motherfucking professional baseball players, and everybody
So-
knows professional baseball players are the best paid athletes in the world.
Y'all hear that? If your kids enjoy sports, baseball in particular, also golf, especially if she's a female.
Basketball. 'cause
For
you
a
got all these
female, it's
soft
golf.
guys, all these
Is
soft-
it not golf for females based on what
money,
Brandon
based
and
off money?
based off of money? Yeah. Do not female
Golfing females ain't making a lot of money like that.
golfing females have access to so many unclaimed scholarships.
Oh, you talking about
That's-
that?
I'm talking about-
money. Make
I'm-
them at the top peak of your shit. No, okay, you talking about something different. I agree. Entirely.
That's why you gotta listen before you
Okay,
disagree.
Linda.
Linda, listen, Linda. Look at you making pop culture references. That it, listen, Linda. That's a fucking TikTok person.
You know what
Type
the
social
TikTok would have been
media.
if I'd have been the motherfucking father or uncle? I'd have walked in that motherfucker. What the fuck you mean? Listen, Linda, little, go sit your ass down, little motherfucker. Who was you talking about? Some listen, Linda.
And that's representative of a
that's your
person who
mama.
don't believe in toys and
Ain't
imagination.
no toys and imagination. Sit your ass, take your place. You pay the
So
bill?
I don't know that little Listen Linda boy, but I do know that there are kids that are getting sponsorships and that are making money through showing their personalities and having parents that quote unquote
Are willing.
that quote unquote
I've been there.
that quote unquote exploit
Done
those kids' personalities. So my husband is over there saying he's been there. So his daughter, our daughter, Tay, very, very pretty girl, long hair, light skinned, what modeling agencies look for.
She was.
Tell the story.
She was so much more adorable at that age. I mean, like really adorable, like almost like a beautiful, adorable. Then she is attractive as a grown woman. But anyway, she could
3,
finish the
4,
story.
5, 6. So my husband, when Tay was young, what age was she when you tried to get her into modeling?
4, 5.
So 4 or 5 years old. My
And
husband.
that's only because.
Why don't you just tell the
But that's
story?
only because I don't really. It don't matter.
Okay.
Because that's only because people kept on and kept on. To me, that was my baby girl, and that's all she did. All that other shit, it was my responsibility to take care of it. That's that.
So what he tried to do and
Even had a motherfucker help pay for the motherfucking. See, I didn't remember this until she was talking.
I'm helping you. That's okay.
Exactly.
That's what I'm here for.
So I even had a motherfucker help pay for the what do you call that bullshit with all
No,
the
photo
pictures?
shoots. Photos.
Well, yeah, but it's
A
the thing.
portfolio.
Yeah, that shit, that bullshit. I said, what the fuck you need a portfolio? She's right here. The fuck you need a portfolio for? She's right here. You gonna make me pay $500? My kid is in front of you, motherfucker, with the camera in front of you.
So
The fuck?
the idea, if your child is
Thievery.
if your child enjoys modeling or acting, etc., the reason behind a portfolio is because the portfolio does the work. So your child can't stand in front of everybody who is looking for an actor.
The work, you don't see this bouncing ass little 4 or 5-year-old full of life, smiling at everybody, speaking to everybody. You don't see, what the fuck you gotta see? There it is.
So who sees that?
The motherfucker's supposed to be taking pictures. Boop, boop, boop. That's when they're supposed to take pictures. Not had Tay and that motherfucker like going in there and showing who you are, baby girl.
37.
That motherfucker
So there is
bullshit.
no
It's a hustle.
there is no denial that there is hustle in the businesses.
Motherfuckers are great motherfuckers and make
So-
mistakes, they grow.
If you want to use the hustle to your advantage, and this is in any area of life, but we're talking particularly about modeling, singing, acting, Hollywood type shit.
Oh yeah. To end that story,
No, we're
she
not
got a-
ending it.
She got an offer in Bakersfield, California to come out and do children commercials, small little spots and stuff like that. Even a possible spot in Sesame Street. My cousin that lived out in that area said he would take responsibility and it would shut the fuck down, just like every other idea that I ever came up with for my daughter. That shit would shut the fuck down. And I was in full support because I'm gonna be honest with you. Back then, I knew
What you knew?
he was gay. I knew my cousin was gay.
You knew a
Just
lot
like
of
I
shit
knew my
back
uncle
then.
was gay. Shit, they was cool. I knew, could tell they the same. You the same motherfuckers. You the same motherfuckers.
I posted my theory about gay people, gayness,
I don't give a
queerness
fuck.
on the video that is taken. Okay, so first of all, we're living in an RV, sketchy cellular service, no Wi-Fi. We tried to get Wi-Fi. They basically lied and just fucked us over or tried to. So we don't have no Wi-Fi service. So I recorded my first episode of In Her Kitchen, and I am uploading it on my phone through YouTube. So that bitch said it's gonna take 111 motherfucking hours
That's
to
what I told you.
upload
It's not
that
meant.
video.
Mother-
It
you
is
did the
meant.
wrong thing. Nah, the motherfucker you supposed to. It's not meant. to upload because the motherfucker would take 111 hours.
But 111 hours, 111, and I see numbers and synchronicity. I just made that connection. The video is 2 hours and 22 minutes long, 222, another connection. But anyway.
That's how motherfucking long I had to wait for breakfast.
But you
Like,
said
think
that
about
shit
that
was
shit.
good. But was it
Okay.
good though? Was it good? Was it good? Was it good? Yes or no? Black or white? You believe in
You
black
can't
and light?
fuck
Was
up
it or
that.
was?
It was
Oh,
good.
you could fuck up some breakfast.
Okay, you could burn
You
the
done
shit.
ate. I burned some toast, but you done ate some fucked up breakfast.
But
You
not-
done
but not my
slept.
home.
You done slept with over 111 women. You done had some fucked up food in your lifetime just from fucking with them. Not to mention all the other food that you done ate in your lifetime. So you can fuck up a breakfast. So don't try to do me and pretend that my 2-hour breakfast wasn't the shit. Because you enjoyed it. And you elevated it.
Not I was up in this motherfucker waiting.
You ate a fucking peanut butter and jelly before I started cooking. What are you even talking about?
Exactly.
I didn't eat shit.
had
I
to
was
wait. Yeah, 'cause
fasting.
you fasted. That ain't
It
got shit
don't,
to do with me.
but right. So like, I wasn't complaining. I'm the one out
I
there
wasn't
doing the work.
complaining either. I'm just saying.
You just talking shit, barbershop talking.
breakfast
You
is
barbershop
at,
talking.
You know, not 3.
But you ate your breakfast. So I was serving lunch or brunch or some early dinner
I
type
did not
shit.
eat breakfast.
You ate what was peanut butter and jelly as your
It
first meal with
was,
some
but
coffee.
Damn, motherfucker.
That's
ain't finna-
breakfast.
No, it's okay. Motherfucker ain't finna
Is
cook.
that
I'm just
breakfast?
Go ahead and do this
That's
real quick.
breakfast.
Because as soon as I pull something out, oh, I was gonna cook. When? Tomorrow?
You ate your peanut butter and jelly and you wasn't hungry. Now you might have been desiring the food because you know my shit be good, but you wasn't hungry.
Oh, stop.
You wasn't hungry. So, portfolios. It's a hustle. We understand this. So much in society is a hustle, but you got to do the hustle to get the grind or get the benefits, the rewards. So, his daughter was his initiation into the hustle of child acting,
I wasn't ready.
child talent, and some of that shit is turned into child pornography. So it might be good that her shit didn't pan out because she might have been on the fucked up side of the industry.
Probably not with my cousin.
We don't
Because
know.
I know who he is. So
Possible.
who he is.
So remember, we
wouldn't
talking
have
to
been
the
with, he
masses.
wouldn't have
So
been.
we not speaking necessarily to his specific instance.
but we are.
He had
Said
family
take.
and a support system in his cousin who knew people in the industry who offered.
Oh, no. But I just know my cousin wasn't gonna play that shit. And he had the
424.
motherfucking food right there on the spot. It'll be a whole thing out of that motherfucker.
So my husband had resources to people who were going to support him and his daughter in his daughter's journey.
They would have been able. She would have lived with him, and he would have, because I was working. I had a job where I was at. I just couldn't pack my shit and go. Her mother was definitely not going no motherfucking where. That's for goddamn sure. But he would have took care of her, and you could just tell by the lifestyle that he lived today that, like,
He was gonna
he
handle
was
his
gonna
shit
handle
and
that
protect
shit.
her.
And I knew him because he was never ashamed of who he was. When I was growing up younger than him, this is my cousin, I'm going to functions, he's who he is. And to see him grow into that person, it was respectable. That was my big cousin. I respected him for being him. I don't give a fuck about what people do with their personal time and who they spending
43,
time with
43.
and all that bullshit. That shit is fucking irrelevant to me. All I know is if you hanging with motherfucking killers, murderers, drug dealers,
You
I'm
can't
most
be around
likely-
my child.
I'm most likely not gonna fuck with you at all. Like if you on some that type of shit, I'm not fucking with you. But
So,
whatever it is,
to-
hold on now. But whatever it is you going into the bedroom doing, and it ain't no illegal shit, like no real illegal shit like pornography, child pornography, all that. Like if it's on some mature adult, everybody agrees shit. I don't give a fuck what you do. That don't got nothing to do with how I view you.
So you
or I
pro-choice
see
when
you.
it comes to people's lifestyles.
Pro-choice of as long as you ain't fucking with nobody else. Like I don't want to hear that bullshit that Oh, because he gay, it fuck with me.
What?
I will smack you,
Because
motherfucker.
what? Explain
That's what
that.
the world is. What you mean explain it? Motherfuckers hate gay people because they say it affects the way that their life is.
Oh,
Or
like
this and
their
that.
lifestyle
Look,
is indoctrinating
whatever the
or
fuck that
influencing them and their
Yeah,
kids.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Your child is gonna fuck who they wanna fuck.
And your child is going to experience what they
the fuck they
experience.
wanna fuck. If the experience is good, you seen gay motherfuckers, you seen straight motherfuckers, you seen this type of motherfucker.
You've seen the whole
You seen
alphabet.
The whole fucking rainbow. That's the thing about the rainbow. How the fuck are you gonna claim the rainbow? The rainbow is
Is
everybody's
nature
motherfucker.
natural?
That's everybody's shit. From
So
A to
I
Z.
posted
And they
on
gonna just
Twitter.
snatch that motherfucker like it's they shit.
I
Your
posted
rainbow
on-
ain't your shit. Get the fuck out of here.
I posted on Twitter that basically we all fall into a category of the rainbow, so that
For
shit
sure.
needs to be
You give them the
expounded.
N, A to Z.
Right.
Alpha, what is it? Alpha to
LBG,
Alpha,
LGB,
Omega, what's the
Alpha
last?
to Omega from beginning to end,
All that
first
shit.
and the last. So we
All
all
that shit.
fall on a
That's why I
point
say,
of the
motherfucker,
rainbow
just explain
spectrum.
Some shit. This our shit.
Because when you put it all together, what do you get? Black.
Fuck out of here.
If you put all the colors of the rainbow together, you get black. And I
So,
talk about blackness
What
on
is
the
light?
video that
What
is
is
still
light?
uploaded. What is light?
Light is energy.
Okay.
You take away energy.
What are we?
You give black. We're all energy.
So
Creating
we're
that
all
negative
black.
ass energy.
Right?
No, black is an empty space.
So
That's why
you
they-
said
no,
if
that's
you
why
put
they
all the
say-
colors together, you get black.
No, I
Colors
didn't say
are
that. You
energy.
said that.
But that's fact. If you
I don't
put
know,
every
is it?
color in the rainbow together on top of each other, they turn black.
Remove the light. There is no color.
So the light in us shines
I don't know about
outwardly.
this.
So anyway, we all black, and the video that's taking
I don't
probably
get into all
60
that preaching,
hours to
y'all.
upload. I'm not preaching.
Okay.
I
Bullshit,
am.
I was like, she
I'm
said something today. I
I'm
was like-
metaphysical.
I was like, what the fuck? I thought I left Timberhand in back in Arkansas. Motherfucker, he in the house with me. Like, shit.
I'll put that on my video too. Just
I-
upload it. So
I actually walk out the motherfucking room when I hear that man's voice. So to
And
hear
you
his
say-
voice come out your voice.
but isn't it more palatable? Doesn't it sound and feel better? Yes, it does.
does not.
So anyway, we don't. Okay, so back to the child and portfolio
I'm
and
finna get
get drunk. Bring me my drink over there.
drunk.
So let's take a commercial. Shut up. Let's take a commercial break. So my people like cheap liquor. I got this bottle of Southern Home peach tea wine cocktail, black tea with peach from Walmart for $2, and we've been drinking on
I
this.
ain't no weed.
We, as in me and
You.
me, yeah.
You.
My husband
Yeah, that's
been
right.
drinking on Maker's Mark, and I also have
And
some
only because I can't get the shit I want.
Svedka vodka that I alternate with. But my people like the good shit and they appreciate the great shit. They ain't opposed to drinking and receiving no Sutter wine $2 tea. So that's our commercial break. So
Yeah.
investing into your children.
Most people don't.
Inve-
And you are lying to yourself. Most people will say they are, and they not. That's a fact. And I'll break everybody fucking household down.
Break it down, baby.
No, I'm talking about individually.
Okay.
One by one. Anybody
Give
that
a
wanna
general
come and say,
example of
it's
breaking
not a-
down how we don't
America.
support our kids.
America.
Okay.
Period. America. They don't. They think they do because they send them to school and they buy them clothes and they give them breakfast and they do that. Motherfucker, you put the motherfucking strap on.
What strap?
And then you ain't got to worry about no kids.
What kind? Oh, a
Take
condom?
on the real responsibility and teach them how to be responsible motherfucking human beings. All these wild motherfuckers running around all over the place.
So I
Oh,
asked what strap because
irresponsible ass
strap
motherfucker.
can mean condom, gun, dildo, depending on what your
Motherfuckers out here, but
experience
this
and
motherfucker,
lifestyle
oh, I'm
is.
married, we're gonna have a family. Motherfucker, you don't even know how to be responsible, motherfucker. You gonna bring some motherfucking human beings in the world so they can be just as irresponsible or worse.
babies having babies, mental.
Irresponsible motherfuckers having creating irresponsible motherfuckers. You know, babies having babies.
Infant mentality having infants.
Motherfucking whiners, complainers. Like, I ain't never seen that shit before in my life. So it just grows.
All my life I had to fight.
And grows and grows. And motherfucking complainers and whiners about shit. You're fucking complaining, find something to do and go do it. That's it. Especially a healthy motherfucker. And then if you a fat motherfucker because you don't want to do shit, you a fat motherfucker. That's it. Just that's it. It ain't because of this. It ain't because of that. Or genetics, DNA.
In some instances, it is.
I know, but I'm saying.
So
that's
right.
what I just said.
Okay.
If you a fat motherfucker because you a fat motherfucker just because.
Okay.
You like to eat. Like I watched Butter the other day.
4, 3, 2.
I watched
Oh,
a
Butter
movie
is
called
a movie to watch. What's that?
I
That
don't
one
know
thing
if it's a
about
movie to
Uber.
watch.
And what was this you were
But
just
Butter,
watching right
I
now?
watch all the good shit.
But what is this?
I don't remember right now. I'll just throw it out there when I come to.
Okay.
But
Butter.
Butter was a fat motherfucker because he chose to be a fat motherfucker. It
And
wasn't
because
DNA.
his mother,
ain't no and.
but his mother
Yeah,
at an
it
age
groomed him,
before he,
but
right.
groomed him to be
So
fat.
before he knew that he had a choice not to be
But
a fat motherfucker,
I
his
understand
mother.
all that
But
shit,
the people
but-
ain't seen the movie.
But it don't matter.
It
though.
does matter
I
because
don't
that's
give
an
a fuck.
important point of how we're conditioned by the
Yeah,
people
but
around
the
us.
problem
No,
with
but
that is, as a human being,
so it's
once you
not a
reach-
crutch. It's a
it's
fact.
A motherfucking
It's a
crutch.
fact
Once
that
you
we
get to the point where you acknowledge that
Before we
okay,
are at
if
the
I want
point-
to lose weight, I can do it if I choose to stop doing
So that's
this
mature
and start
thinking.
doing that. When a motherfucker like Butter chooses,
and when he chose to,
keep
his life changed.
it changed.
Right.
But he was choosing to stay fat and maintain that misery
Because he had to work through his
no,
conditioning.
no,
He
no.
had to get all
It
that
was
shit out of his
still
system.
by choice. He knew it. Everybody knew it, especially his dad.
And his dad
And his
didn't
dad-
advocate
and
for
his
him.
dad didn't advocate either way. He stayed neutral as fuck because he knew his son was doing that shit on his own.
So why don't you
making
take
that
a
choice.
bathroom break?
No,
Because you keep because you keep all my life I had to fight. I had to fight my mom, I had to fight my daddy, my uncle, my Color Purple, whatever that. I'm quoting, you don't even know. You need to watch the Color Purple again so you know what the fuck I be talking about.
Energy up in there.
So don't 434.
Right, Piper?
So
Tell her, Piper.
all of that brings us back to the point I've been fighting to make and to explain about portfolios. So I believe that I am going to be given the opportunity to express that point in its entirety so that I can stop fighting to make it known. Yeah, you showed me over there shimmying because your ass
Can't
know.
shimmy.
You
Well, I
can't.
know, I don't
You know. So with the portfolios, we know it's a hustle. We know that it can happen where your child can be discovered. And the beauty of social media is that it's basically cutting out that middleman. It's cutting out that initial investment that people couldn't afford to make and that were scraping and scrimping trying to make to get their children a portfolio created for whatever arts they were interested in. So in my personal experience, before my daughter Tay was even born, my mother was spending money for my brother and myself to go take modeling photos over in Chicago. We grew up and were born in East Chicago, Indiana, but in Chicago, Illinois, right across the border, there were...
Just so you know, you're picking my blanket up too much.
We'll get it out of storage.
Yes, you will.
So, taken to East, and it's a good thing I've had practice on keeping or redirecting, or allowing my train of thought to be redirected. Because this motherfucker keep interrupting me every chance he get. But
This is
his
supposed to
memory...
be
It's a collaboration, but I gotta say what the fuck I gotta say without you interrupting.
It's Saturday Night Live.
It is today Thursday. Anyway, so my experience, mother, single mother, father at this stage of my life has 4 known kids. 3 of them born within 6 months of each other, Kondo, Nikki, and Anthony. I was the 4th.
He's sitting on double digits.
Yeah,
For sure.
but he said, and I posted about that on my
For sure.
public free social media, so you can
Sure.
hear all this there or read all this there. But so I'm the 4th known child of my father. So my mother, single woman, working at this point, one job for sure with the telephone company, and potentially other jobs because she worked at the church and some other places throughout my life. But at this particular stage, she is raising my brother and myself with support from her sisters, brothers, and mother, who was still alive until I was 6. But my mother was taking my brother and myself along with my auntie Nisi to Chicago to do these modeling pictures. I was always late because I didn't want to do it, because I didn't feel at that point worthy enough or good enough to be in pictures. It didn't feel like that was my life back then. I was not aware of my potential in being able to model. So I was always late, and eventually my mother was like, you know, you just stay at home because you ain't trying to go no way and you fucking everything else up. That ain't how she talk, that's how we talk. So my mother was like, you fucking everything up, so you stay at home, and Nisi and Anthony gonna go and take these pictures. So Nisi and Anthony took pictures together. I may have been in some of the earlier photos before I got quote unquote put in my place. But Anthony, my full brother of my mother and father, was picked up to be in Tonka trunk commercials. So he was on some toy boxes when we were young of these trucks. I was not involved in that scenario. My aunt Nisi, I believe she also got some paid gigs, but if not, she kept going and taking the pictures and participating in the photo shoots. So my mama was paying for that on her single woman, divorced or estranged, whatever her relationship with my father was at the time, but her single income and what she was bringing into the household. So she was paying all that. So fast forward, when my husband and our daughter was able to have that opportunity, even though we know that paying for that is a hustle, he had the financial ability to some extent to get her that portfolio, even knowing that it was a hustle. He still made that sacrifice. Now, he was working whatever job was available with his level of education and the people who would hire a person with his background. That's his own story to tell. So he wasn't no rich dude. He like low blue collar, is it blue collar? Like low level type shit, bringing in income. But he had the support system available, who was willing to bring his daughter into a more financially stable environment, because your cousin was older than you. So he would have been able to provide for Tay and get whatever pictures she needed. So he would have hooked her up with some shit. Now, what we run into in the black family, and speaking of mothers who are raising their children by themselves on a single income, whether it be welfare, child support, or an income that they go to a 9 to 5 to work. Now, we're dealing with mothers who don't want to, quote unquote, let their babies leave the house. So my husband ran into that resistance with his baby mama. My mother didn't have that resistance because she was the baby mama who was in full support of our dreams, and she accepted that one child was going forward with that dream for a period of time, and the other child, me, was like, fuck that, I don't want no parts of that, for some reasons that she didn't know until I was mature enough to have that conversation with her. But that is 2 instances of 2 mothers with similar situations, similar backgrounds, similar experiences, and how they supported their children's dreams. So now if we look at the 2 daughters in that scenario, myself and my daughter Tay, my mother supported my dreams. So my mother trying to put me in shit, and I didn't know what I wanted to do other than read and be by myself. So the shit she was trying to put me into, I was rejecting it. She tried to get me to be in choirs. She saw in me that I had some artistic ability. She put me in piano classes. I didn't want to practice to become great at any of that, and in my